Looking back on it, it was a bit of a shock. We found out at our 20-week ultrasound that things were not quite normal. So we did the genetic tests and they came back as negative for all the typical disabilities that they could test for back in 2014.
We started thinking about all the things that could or could not be, and then had to throttle ourselves back and focus on A and B because D, E, and F were unknown.
He looked at the scans and we were given a much scarier diagnosis, which at that appointment he told us he might die between 3 and 7.
So then we started having to go step by step and try to figure out, as he got older, what do we do first? What do we do next?
They discovered that he was missing part of his brain. It's called agenesis of the corpus callosum, and that is the portion of the brain that connects the left and the right side of the brain.
We wound up leaving and going to her parents' house, and we hung out there for a while. We cried a little bit, and then we started going, okay, well, this is our life now, so this is what we do.
Little Bit has helped Theo increase his independence by helping him learn how to walk. I was hoping when we came to Little Bit that we would find something fun for Theo to do that wasn't school, that would also help him learn to be the best Theo that he can be, the strongest kid, the most joyful kid, someone who can react to other people, other creatures. And yes, our hopes have definitely been met.
So Little Bit therapy is especially good for Theo because he's able to use the horse's movement to simulate pelvic movement while he's walking.
The first impression when I saw him change and realized that it was in large part attributable to Little Bit, we realized that this is something we have to keep doing because it does have an impact. And so it made us want to continue to come here and try to do what we could to support the facility.
My proudest moment while working with Theo was when he was able to sit up on a horse unsupported.
The longest term benefit that visibly I have seen over the last 3 years is when Theo started riding the horse. He used to slouch quite a bit.
He needed a lot of support, even just to sit on the horse. And I remember the first day when he was able to sit up without any support on the horse while we were walking alongside him.
Jen would work with him to get him to sit up and get him to sit up.
My second moment is when he started walking independently. He started taking independent steps, which will just open up his world for him.
And the only way he learned to hold on to a walker was by a technique that we started doing at Little Bit by holding on to a hula hoop. That got him to the point that he could hold on to a walker with vertical pegs and control where he wanted to go around the room. And so he has a choice in where he maneuvers around in the school, where he maneuvers around in PE, in our house, outside with our neighborhood friends. He's just able to get around and make choices that he couldn't make before. And since he got the walker, he started taking independent steps in December of 2022, and now he actually prefers to not be in the walker, and we've recreated the gait belt that Little Bit uses with a ski harness. And so we hold on to his back, and then he gets to walk around, or he uses our hands and he pushes us around like a walker. But it's just been a phenomenal change and improvement in his demeanor and having that independence that he didn't have before.
It was, when I first saw the differences and change in Theo after doing horse therapy and doing the hippotherapy for a while, it was literally brought tears to my eyes, because the first big impact we saw was his ability to just walk more. to actually stand and walk more. And we saw his core strength increase.
Hi, 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 and he'll stop and say hi to the horses and to the other riders that he passes. He just loves it so much.
What I've learned from Theo a little bit is hard work pays off. Even on days that he is not as happy, he works so hard and works towards his goals. He particularly likes helmet kisses, which is a kiss from his horse on top of his helmet after he is done riding. He looks forward to these every time he gets off the horse.
He's gotten so strong in his core. We kept thinking that over this last 6 months or so that he had gotten taller, and every time we go into the doctor, no, he's still the same height. We're still measuring him the same height, and we finally figured out, this has just been in the last month or two, that he's just carrying himself taller now because he's gotten so strong riding on the horse. And so he's also started walking and taking independent steps. He took his first independent steps back in December of 2022. And so that has fed his strength in being able to take the steps and carry himself taller when he's standing. So we think what was happening is when they measure him at the doctor, they stretch him out on a piece of paper. And so he was stretched out, but now he's finally stretched out when he's vertical. And it's pretty amazing to see that change and to know that it's really from hippotherapy, because he's not doing stuff that would help him do that in other regular PT sessions.
There are many places to go put your money, but all of us want to have the most bang for the buck and the most impact. And to see the differences in my son since he's been here, to go from barely being able to sit up to being able to walk somewhat, to being able to take even 4 or 5 steps independently, is directly attributable to both the services at Little Bit and those that we receive, and the coordination between the physical therapists here and at school and other places.
If Little Bit didn't exist, I think Theo wouldn't have had as much progress as he's had towards independence, towards walking, towards being a strong kid. Seeing the adults here doing therapies gives me hope that there are places, that there will be a place for him when he's an adult. Wherever he is, if he's walking with assistance, if he's still in a wheelchair, he'll still have places to go to give him joy. I love seeing Theo so happy.